Velkommen og god dag alle sammen. Today we are speaking about some Icelandic sleep spells that we find in some of the Icelandic magic books. Now this is a very cool one because some of these spells could have ancient pagan origin of a spell that was actually used by Odin in a story that we all know, and that is the story of when he puts the Valkyrie Brynhildr to sleep. So we all know about this story if you've read any of the myths. It's the most famous one, pretty much. It's found in the Poetic Edda, Prose Edda, and even later on operas by Richard Wagner. And it's actually the story where Sleeping Beauty originates. So it's the most detailed work about this comes in the Poetic Edda Sigurðarúrfimal, of course. And at the very start of the story, when Odin decides that an army and a man is supposed to be killed in battle and brought to Valhalla, and the Valkyrie Brynhildr goes against Odin's wishes and takes the life of that man's enemy instead. So Odin was mad, of course, and as her punishment, Odin sticks her with a sleeping thorn and circles her with a ring of fire and makes her fall asleep until the hero can come and wake her, the hero Sigurður. And that's a long story. I'll go into all that in another video. But the main point I was making is that the way that Odin was able to put this Valkyrie Brynhildr to sleep was Svefnþorn, or the sleeping thorn. So as you can see, that's where the Sleeping Beauty tale comes from originally. And we actually have a couple of spells from later on in history that are titled exactly that, the sleeping thorn, Svefnþorn. But let's look at a couple other sleep staves before we get into those. The first one here we find in the Galdrabók. That's spell number 32, and you were supposed to carve this one on some alder wood and put it under a person's head, and they would sleep until you took it away. That's just a basic magical stave. That's from the 1500s, about maybe 1600s. Another one we have here in the Kreddur manuscripts, and this symbol here, you would carve it on some coal with a magnetized piece of iron or something sharp that's iron and magnetized, and that would protect you against bad dreams and sleeplessness. That's that one, Kreddur manuscripts. That's from about 1800s, I think, so pretty late on. And here, we're going to look at a couple others. These are two spells that are actually called Seventhorn, or Sleepthorn, exactly how Odin puts the Valkyrie Brynhildr to sleep. The first one here we find in a book by Olafur Davidsson in the 1900s. This one, it's a spell that instructs you to take the heart sac of a dead dog. So the sac that covers the heart and that area. If you've ever been around a butcher or know anything about that, gun hunting or anything, there's a sac that covers the heart as protection, and you take that sac and you pour pickling broth into it. And then you dry it for 13 days, somewhere where the sun doesn't shine. And then you hang it over the person while they are asleep, and they won't wake up until you take it away. That's what that spell was. Then we have another one that's found in the Huld manuscript, originally written in the 1600s sometime. And these signs here should be carved on oak and put under the head when they were, and then the person who had that under their head was supposed to stay asleep until these were taken away. So it's super cool here. This is also called Seventhorn. Doesn't have anything to do with a thorn, so we see that this doesn't seem to be what Odin used in all those stories about Brynhildr. Of course, there's no mention of thorn in these magical spells from Iceland, but even though this stave does look kind of like a thorn, that's pretty cool. So maybe it does have some origin in this ancient tale, because these staves here, they look a little bit like a thorn. No way to tell for sure, but either way, I think it's very interesting and cool that we have a reference to this sleeping thorn, Seventhorn, from the tale in this magic book, probably 1500 years later after the actual origin of this tale. Some scholars date this myth about Brynhildr and the Sleeping Thorn and Sigurdur and that story that we read in all of the Eddas. They date that from as early as the 300s. Some scholars in the migration period. So that's incredible that the Sleeping Thorn can be found in some magic spells 1500 years after this. So that's. But again, I'll speak about the actual origin of this tale in another video and tell you exactly what it means. But I just wanted to take this one to quickly show you some sleeping spells that you can maybe try out if you want that could possibly have some ancient origin. So that's about it for this video. Vi ses nästa gång.